Welcome. Today we're going to be going through the 2007 paper 1. Usually we'll be doing it online, but unfortunately there's a little bit of hiccups with my computer right now. So we're going to go through the 2007 paper 1. So we're going to have some fun. Alright. So the first question for the paper 1, it says, in the real number system, what is the inverse of addition? And they give us x. So first thing we have to remember is inverse of addition, right? Remember the rule. X star, x inverse, supposed to give the identity. That's what's supposed to happen, right? So x star, x inverse give the identity. Now what is the identity of addition? The identity of addition is 0. So what that means is x plus the inverse is x inverse, or let's write minus x. In this case, gives 0. So x plus minus x, that will give you about 0. Because minus x, yeah, that's it. Alright, number 2. Number 2 says, which of the following statements is true? So them give you a bunch of options. So we're just going to look at the correct one. So the correct option is option D. So option D is correct because option D gives you the sum from r equal 1 to n of r squared, and that's the sum from r equals 0 to n of r squared. This one is correct, option D. You can check it out. If you start from 1, you're going to get 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared, and it continue over here. So when you plug in 0, you get 0 squared plus 1 squared plus 2 squared, and it continue. So this one is true. Number 2 is option D. Alright, number 3. Number 3 asks for the k plus 1 term in the sum from r equal 1 to n. So number 3 will have the sum from r equal 1 to n of r times r minus 1. And you want the k plus 1 term. To get the k plus 1 term where r is, you put k plus 1. So the k plus 1 term is going to be k plus 1 times k plus 1 minus 1. And that works out just to be k times k plus 1. I'll look at the options then there. That's option C. That's option C. Number 4 tells you the basic wage, WB, and the overtime wage, WO, of the shop attendant differs by no more than. By never differ by more than. So no more than, that means less than or equal to. So that means that the overtime wage minus the basic wage, that is never, right? The difference between them can be, see there? The difference between them, right? When you take the difference, it's never going to be more than. So it's always less than or equal to. The difference between the two can be 95, 97, 50, but it can't be bigger than 100. It can equal to 100, but can't be bigger than 100. And that looks like option A. That's number 4. Find the value of x. So the modulus of x plus b is equal to the modulus of x. Now, if the modulus of x plus b is equal to x, then that implies that x plus b is equal to plus or minus x. Yeah, that's the rule. If the modulus of a is equal to b, then a is equal to plus or minus b. That's the rule. This is the rule of modulus. So that means here, first thing we can look at, we want to find x. So if you look at this first one right here, right, look at the one with the plus, you have x plus b is equal to x, or x plus b is equal to minus x. Right here, so that's not helpful. So look at this one, if you bring it over, you get 2x is equal to b. Let me see, I bring the x over here. Oh, I made a mistake. I bring the x over here, that's minus 2x equal to b, and so x is equal to negative b over 2. Alright, that's the answer. That looks like option B. So that's one way you could do it. Another way you could do it, this is a OR way. Another way you could do it is square both sides. So your x plus b square is equal to x square. Then you expand out the square, first term square, plus twice the product of the two, plus second term square equal x square. The x squares on both sides cancel. So then you get 2xb plus b square is 0. Then you need x to be the subject. Bring over this b square to get minus b square is 2xb. And divide both sides by 2b. This b cancel this b, this 2 cancel this 2. You end up with x is equal to minus b square over 2b is minus b over 2. So any way you want to do it, you could. That's number 5. Alright, question 6 says, when the polynomial p of x is divided by x minus 1, what is the remainder? P of x is equal to 2x cubed plus x squared minus 13x plus 6. So to find the remainder when it is divided by x minus 1, so it is divided by x minus 1. To find that remainder, all you have to do is find p of 1. So p of 1 will give you the remainder, which is 2 times 1 cubed plus 1 square minus 13 times 1 plus 6. That's 2, 3, 3 plus 6 is 9, 9 minus 13 is negative 4. That is option A. So that's number 6. That's A. Says, how can we express 4x cubed minus 4y cubed? In order to do this now, we have to remember the a to the n minus b to the n formula. So recall that a to the n minus b to the n is a minus b multiplied by a to the n minus 1 plus a to the n minus 2 b to the 1 plus, and it continues all the way till we reach what b to the n minus 1. So following that trend, our a is 4x and our b is 4y. So that means that 4x cubed minus 4y cubed will be equal to 4x minus 4y multiplied by a to the n, it's going to be 4x to the n minus 1, 3 minus 1 is 2, plus a to the n minus 2, that's just 4x times 4y, plus b to the n minus 1. See it here now, this is just 4y squared. So we'll simplify this, we'll end up get 4x minus 4y, and we multiply it by 4x squared is 16x squared plus 4 times 4 is 16xy plus 16y squared. That is option D. So number 7 is option D. That's it. Easy stuff so far. Alright, question 8. Question 8 tells us that alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, and they give you a quadratic. They say find the value of alpha squared plus beta squared. First thing is this is a quadratic, x squared minus ex plus q equals 0. So first thing we have to remember is that the roots alpha plus beta is minus b, which is minus p over a, which is 1, so that's p. Then alpha times beta is q over a, that's q over 1, which is q. Then you have to remember that alpha squared plus beta squared is equal to alpha plus beta all squared minus 2 alpha beta. Alpha plus beta is p, so it's p squared minus 2 times alpha beta 2q. That's option C. That's number 8. Question 8 says find the exact value of 25 over 16 raised to the minus half. 26 over, or 25. 25, 10 says rationalizing gives. So we have root 2 minus 1 over root 2 plus 1 multiplied by, rationalizing multiplied by the conjugate of the denominator, root 2 minus 1 over root 2 minus 1. When we rationalize, we notice that it's going to become root 2 times root 2 is 2, root 2 times minus 1 is minus root 2, minus 1 times root 2 is minus root 2, minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Then the denominator becomes the difference of 2 squared. We end up get, this look like 2, root 2 squared is 2. And we write it out, so see, this is root 2 squared minus 1 squared. That works out to be 2 plus 1 is 3. Root 2 minus root 2 is minus 2 root 2 over root 2 squared is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. Then you just look at which one of them give you that option. I don't see that option there. Oh yeah, it's option D. That's option D. Question 11 says, which of the following does not represent a function? Remember, if it's a function, when you do a vertical line test, only intersect at one point. So vertical line test. If you do a vertical line test and intersect at more than one point, then it's not a function. So it's clearly option C. This function here, so when you do a vertical line test, 2 points. Alright? So what I normally tell myself is this right here, so is one x value of 2 different y value. One girl can date 2 guys. That is wrong, not a function. Right? And so therefore this is not a function. This is option C. Question 12 asks us to put something in the vertex form. So they give us 2 minus 4x squared plus 3x squared. First thing we need to do is rewrite this. Rewrite this as 3x squared minus 4x, 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. By rewriting it in that form, we can easily now put it in its vertex form, because now we can complete the square, or you can use the formula, whichever way you prefer. I like to put it in this form, 3 in bracket, x plus h plus k, right? So we need to find h. H is just minus b, which would be minus 4 over 2a. Well, sorry, the negative is already there. H is b over, this is b, and this is a. So it's negative 4 over 2 times 3, which is 6. That's 2 over 3. All right. Now that I get 2 over 3 for h, right? H is b, or put back the negative, negative 2 over 3. So that's my h. Now we need to find my k. All right, remember the formula again for k. K is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. All right, that is k. So then now we just need to plug in these values. All right, so k is going to be equal to 4 times a is 3, c is 2, minus b is negative 4 squared divided by 4a. 4 times 3, which is 12. So k is going to be equal to 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 minus 16 is 8. So that's 8 over 12, or 8 over 12. 4 into that, that's 2 over 3. So now we can tell them that this function is 3 times x plus h. That's minus 2 over 3 square plus k plus 2 over 3. That is option B. All right. Question 13 says, where is the function decreasing? So they give us a quadratic. This is what they give us. This is a quadratic, and they ask, where is the function decreasing? The function is decreasing all over here, so where the gradient is negative. Alright, so the gradient is negative here. So the gradient is negative when x is what? Less than 3. When x is less than 3. That's option A. Question 14 says, what is the general quadratic equation with roots alpha and beta? Remember that a quadratic can be written as x squared minus the sum of the roots times x plus the product of the roots equals 0. The sum of the roots will be alpha plus beta, so it's x squared minus alpha plus beta times x plus the product is alpha beta equals 0. That's how you can write a quadratic. That is option C. Question 15 says, the sketch below shows a function, and they want us to sketch now the modulus. So they give us that this is f of x. F of x is this function right here, which is a rational function. So if we want the modulus, we know that the modulus reflects whatever is in the denominator, or whatever is below the x-axis above it. So therefore, the mod of f of x is going to be Whatever is below the x is going to come up here. That will be the modulus function. Remember, modulus reflect over. Remember that modulus, the modulus of a function f of x reflects over x-axis. Modulus reflect over. So whichever option that is option D. That's option D. Alright, question 16 tells us that A and B are parallel vectors. Find the value of lambda. Now, first thing we know is if A is parallel to B, if two vectors are parallel, then probably look something like so, right? That means that the angle between them is 0. So if A is parallel to B, then the cos of theta is 0. Cos of theta is 0. So now, the cos of theta is, well, the angle rather is 0, right? So the angle rather, theta is 0. If theta is 0, that means the cosine of 0 is equal to A dot B over the length of A times the length of B. That's what we do know. But the cos of 0 is 1. That would mean that the length of A times the length of B is equal to A dot B. Now, first thing is we can look at what A dot B is. A dot B would be A is 5, 1 dot B. B is lambda 5. This works out to be 5 lambda plus 5. Then the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B, that's going to be the square root of magnitude of A is going to be 5 squared plus 1 squared. All of that is multiplied by the magnitude of B, which is lambda squared plus 25. So that would simplify to be, simplifying this side, it's going to be 25 and 1 is 26. That's the square root of 26 times the square root of, that's lambda squared plus 25 equal to 5 lambda plus 5. Now you could go ahead and keep on solving this, but just to make it easy on us, we're going to try the options that they give us and see which one would make this equation true. Because it's a multiple choice, you don't want to take forever and forever and forever, right? So I'm not going to try a negative number. Negative 5, that now going to work. Clearly negative 5 now going to work because this is going to make the right hand side negative. So let's try 1. If you try when lambda is 1, what you get is the square root of 26 times the square root of 26, which would be 1 would make this become 10. Now this is not true. This is not true. So 1 don't work. So we're going to try 5 now. Alright. Trying 5, you could go ahead and just solve that by squaring both sides, and too much work that, right? So trying 5 now, if you try 5, try lambda equal 5, you end up with the square root of 26 times the square root of 5 squared is 25 plus 25 equal to 5 times 5 is 25 plus 5, that's 30. This would work out to be the square root of 50 times the square root of 26, which is the square root of 26 times 50. Is that 30? Let's check it. So we're just going to check that out. 26 times 50, that's 1300. This don't work either, because the square root of 1300 is not right, so this don't work. So finally we know, so answer 25. Right, so try lambda equal 25. If lambda is 25, 25 squared so do this now. Try lambda is 25. Try lambda equal 25. If lambda is 25, we're going to get, let me see, 25 square would be 25 square. I know it's 625, yeah, 625. So this would be the square root of 26 times the square root of 625 plus 25 is 650. That's equal to 5 times 25. 5 times 25 is 75 plus 5 is 80. Square root 650 times the square root of 26. Oh, this should have been 130. And yeah, this one works. So lambda is 25. So number 16 is D. And as I said, they could have actually solved it by squaring both sides and all of that stuff. Number 17, this gives us a circle, x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 4y minus 11 equals 0. First thing you need to do is complete the square for the x term, then this will become x minus 1 square minus 1 plus this will become y plus 2 square. Then you subtract 4. Well, we subtract the square of this number. So we subtract 1 square, we subtract 2 square minus 11 equals 0. Putting it in its standard form, this is x minus 1 square plus y plus 2 square equal to minus 1 minus 4 minus 11. And we carry it over here is 16. Then what do they ask? They ask what is the center of the circle. The center of the circle is 1 minus 2. That's number 17, which is option C. Number 18 asks us for the radius of the circle. This is 16, so the radius is 4. That's option B. Question 19 asks, how can we simplify this function? We have the sine of, in bracket, x plus pi by 2. Now we have to use a compound angle to expand this for sine. This would be sine x cos pi by 2 plus cos x sine pi by 2. But the cos of pi by 2 is 0. So this part becomes 0 plus the sine of pi by 2. The sine of pi by 2 is 1, so this just becomes 0 plus cos x times 1. That's just cos x. That's option C. Option C is the answer for that one. Number 20, we need to expand the sine of 30 minus A. The sine of 30 degrees minus A. That is going to be equal to, expanding that, we're going to have now sine 30 cos A minus cos 30 sine A. But the sine of 30 is a half, so we get a half cos A minus the cos of 30 is root 3 over 2 times the sine of A. That is going to be, that's option A. That's it. Question 21 says, which of the following sketches best represent the curve y equal to the cosine of a half x. And they tell x is between 0 and pi by 2. X is between 0 and 2 pi, not pi by 2. So the best way I like to do this is look at y values, right? So when x is 0, the cosine of 0, if you were to put 0 right here, so the cos of 0 is 1. When x is 0, the y value is 1. Let's look at the end part now. When x is 2 pi, if you put 2 pi here, so 2 pi over 2 becomes pi, but the cos of pi is negative 1. This is negative 1. Then I like to try in between values, like maybe when x is pi, put in like when x is pi and so on. When x is pi, the cos of pi, if you put pi here, so this will become pi over 2. The cos of pi over 2 is the cos of 90, and the cos of 90 is 0. So already can see how the graph is going to look. When x is 0, the y value is 1. So this is a maximum point. When x is 2 pi, the y value is negative 1. Right, it's a maximum point. And when x is pi, y value is 0. Something like that. That looks like option B. That's number 21. Question 22. Question 22 says if beta is an acute angle, and I have to zoom in a little bit, if beta is acute and the cos of beta, they tell us that the cos of beta is 5 over 13. Now we need to find sec beta. Now sec beta is 1 over cos beta. That's going to be 1 over 5 over 13, which is 13 over 5. That's option B. Easy. Question 23, they give us a graph. This is 2, this is minus 2. Right? Now, first of all, once you see 2 and minus 2, you know, so y equal 2 times something. Now, since it passes through the origin, it has to be sine x. So y is 2 times sine x. That's option C. Because we know that, remember, the sine of x is bounded between 1 and negative 1. So you have to multiply it by 2 in order for it to bound between 2 and negative 2. That's how we have to do it. So bear that in mind. Question 24 says 2 sine theta times the cos of phi. Now look at this. This is where you have to remember the sum of 2 sines and the sum of 2 cos. Remember the sum of 2 sines is twice the sine of half the sum times the cos of half the difference. So look at this. Remember this formula, sine A plus sine B is equal to twice the sine of half the sum times the cos of half the difference. Twice the sine of half the sum times the cos of half the difference. So look at this. If you were to let theta, or this one is theta, if you were to let theta be right here, so this is 2 sine theta, and this is cos phi. So theta is A plus B over 2. So a plus b over 2 is equal to theta. So if you cross multiply, right, a plus b over 2 is theta, and a minus b over 2 is phi. So in other words, all this is telling us is that this right here, so it has to be, this has to then be the sine of theta plus phi plus the sine of theta minus phi. If you were to transpose those equations, because the a in this case, oh sorry, as I was saying, the a in this case is just the theta. The a in this case is just the theta plus phi, and the b in this case is theta minus phi. That's it. So this looks like option. Find sine of half the sum times the cos of half the difference. That's option A. That's it. Question 25, it says you have 2 cos theta plus 9 sine theta, and that's equal to r cos theta minus alpha. And they want us to find now what is the maximum value. So the maximum value is r. So the maximum value is r, and r is equal to the square root of the coefficient of cos squared plus the coefficient of sine squared. That's 81 plus 4, that's 85. That's the square root of 85. That's option B. Alright, this is now question 26. It says this is a vector OA. Vector OA, they give you A as a point, 3 minus 2, and then they want 3 OA. So let's multiply this by 3. So that is going to be 9 negative 6. That's option B. Question 27 says the value of the scalar product x is, so they give us what is x. This is x. They want x dot y, sorry. X is given by the vector 3, negative 8, dot y is given by the vector 6, 12. So the scalar product is 3 times 6, which is 18, minus 8 times 12, which is 96, I believe. 18 minus 96, that's negative 78. Option A. Now we can just do question 28 right here, so too. Because they tell us that, remember z up here, so is 6, 4m. And it says find the values of m if y and z are perpendicular. If y is perpendicular to z, so y is perpendicular to z, that implies that y dot z equals 0. Now y is 6, 12 dot z, which is 6, 4m, that equals 0. Working that out right here, so very small. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 12 times 4 is 48, m equals 0. That's saying 48m is negative 36. Divide both sides by 48. M is negative 3 over 4. That's option B. That's number 28, B. Easy. Question 29 says the line passing through the center of the circle. So they give us a circle. Let's put the circle down. X minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equal 25. If you wanted to get an idea of what this circle looks like, this is a circle with center 3, negative 2, 3, negative 2, and a radius of 5. So if this is x being 3, x being 0 is somewhere right here, so, right? And if this is y being, I'm just looking where I'm going to draw the axis, alright, my x-axis and my y-axis. Negative 2, so y-axis is somewhere about here, alright? And x-axis is 0, so this is 3 minus, this is x value being 3, x-axis is somewhere over here. Right, I know this is not a proper sketch, right? I just want you to understand the fact that this is radius 5, that's the center. Now they say find the equation. They say the line passing through the center of the circle and is parallel to the x-axis. So there is a line that passes through the center and parallel to the x-axis. So this is the only line that can pass through the center parallel to the x-axis. That line would be y equal to negative 2. That's option A. Question 30 gives us a parametric equation. X equal 2t, y equal to t squared. Find the Cartesian. If x is 2t, then what I can do is divide by 2 to get t is x over 2. Then I'm going to plug t as x over 2 into y. So y is going to be, this becomes x over 2 squared. So y is now x squared over 4. So across multiply, this is 4y equal x squared. That looks like option D. This is now question 31. It says, in the diagram above showing y squared is x, where is the function not defined? If you notice, this is the graph, nothing of the over here, so the graph is not defined when x is less than 0. That's option B. Question 32, they tell us that f of x is equal to x squared minus 2 over x plus 2. And they want where the function is discontinuous. The function is discontinuous. It is discontinuous when the denominator is 0. So it's discontinuous when f of x is undefined. And from C-set math, we know that it's undefined when x plus 2 is 0. So x is negative 2. Because if x is negative 2, we can't get a y value. That's option A. So that's number 32. Question 33. Question 33 wants us to evaluate the limit as x approaches 3 of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3. To evaluate this limit, you can use L'Hopital rule and differentiate the numerator to get 2x over 1. Then plug in x as 3, you get 2 times 3, which is 6. That's option C. Question 34. Question 34 says we're supposed to find the limit as x approaches 0 of sine 4x over x. Now, irrespective of the given that, you can differentiate this right here to get the limit as x approaches 0 of, when you differentiate sine, you get cos. When you differentiate x, you get 1. Plug in x as 0, the cos of 0 is 1, so we get 4 over 1, which is 4. That is option A. That's option A. Question 35 gives us a curve. Looks something like this. X squared plus y squared. This is 2 and 2 equal 4. And they tell us that we need to find an expression for the volume around the x-axis. Now the volume around the x-axis, pi times the integral of y squared dx. Right? And we're integrating, we can see that the volume is going to be pi times the integral. We're going from 0, x being 0 to x being 2, of what's y squared. Well, this is x squared plus y squared, so from that, y squared would be 4 minus x squared. So the volume would be the integral from 0 to 2 of 4 minus x squared dx. That's option D. Alright, question 36, it tells us that f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 all cube. And we need to find f prime of 2. So first thing is we need to differentiate it. F prime of x is carried on the power, then you subtract 1 from the power, then you multiply it by the derivative in the bracket. So that means the f prime of x is 3 times 2 is 6 times 2x plus 1 square. Then now you need f prime of 2. So f prime of 2 is a plug in x as 2. 6 times 2 times 2 plus 1 square. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 square. That's 6 times 5 square. 25 times 6 is 150. Option B. Question 37, it says find the first derivative of this. So y is negative 1 over x squared plus x squared minus 1. To find the first derivative, dy by dx is, you start with the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom over the bottom square. So when we work this out, we're going to get this part is 0, minus and minus make this become plus. So that's 2x over x squared minus 1 all squared. That's option C. Question 38 tells us that dy by dx is equal to the cosine of x. So what that means then is y is equal to the integral of dy by dx, which is cos x. When you integrate cos, you get sine x. But then you have to add your constant of integration k. That's option A. Question 39, it gives us a graph. And they shade that area right here from 0.5 to 4. And they want us to find the area shaded. And this is the graph y equal to 1 over x. So the area shaded is equal to the integral from 0.5 to 4 of 1 over x dx. When you integrate 1 over x, you get ln x, and you're going from 0.5 to 4. So that's just ln 4 minus ln 0.5. That's option B. Nothing too hard. Question 40. Question 40 says the stationary point of the function, so y is equal to x minus 1 all squared. So first thing we differentiate to get dy by dx, which would be 2 times x minus 1. I will know say at a stationary point, we know that dy by dx equals 0. So set this equals 0. So you're going to get x equal 1. If x is equal to 1, then the y value is going to be 1 minus 1 squared, which is 0. So the stationary point is 1, 0. The 1, 0 is option C. Question 41. Question 41, it gives us the graph y equal ln x. And they tell us find the gradient of the normal at x equal 2. So first thing you need is dy by dx. And that is when you differentiate ln, you get 1 over x. Now since you differentiate it to get 1 over x, that means that the gradient of the tangent is 1 over 2. If the gradient of the tangent, remember this is at the point when x is 2, all I do is plug in x as 2 here, and so the gradient of the normal, which is minus 1 over the gradient of the tangent, that's going to be negative 1 over a half, which is negative 2. That's the gradient of the normal, option A. Question 42, you want us to find the integral from 0 to pi by 2 of 2 cos 5x dx. When you integrate cos, you get sine. So it's 2 sine 5x, but then you divide by the derivative of what's in the bracket, which is 5. You're going from 0 to pi by 2. When you plug in x as pi by 2, you get 2 times the sine of 5 times pi by 2 divided by 5 minus the sine of 0 is 0. Put this in a calculator. 5 pi by 2. I'm going to put in my calculator. This is, okay, so that's 2 over 5. Put in my calculator, I get 2 over 5. That's option B. Question 43, it says, given that dy by dx is 2x, so if dy by dx is 2x, what do we know? If dy by dx is 2x, then we know that y can be the integral of 2x dx. That's going to give us that y is equal to x squared plus some constant c. So we just need transformation of the x squared graph. So the answer could have been, if c is 0, the graph would be like this. This would be y equal to x squared plus 0. If c is 1, then this would have been 1, and the graph looks something like this. Y equal to x squared plus 1, yeah, and so on, right? So that means that the graph could also be down here, so we see it as negative 1. So can't say which of them they give the answer now, sir. So 2 is true, so I is true, because x squared minus 1 is I. Alright, now let's look at I. I looks like x squared plus 1. When x is negative 1 squared plus 1 is 2. I is true. This one is I. So I and I are true. Alright, so I and I are true. And IV is also true. IV at the origin. So that means that I, and IV. Those are true. So that is going to be option C. That's option C. Question 44. Question 44 gives us a curve. Y is equal to minus 5 times 2x minus 1 squared. And they tell us, given that x increases at a rate of 1 unit per second, so they're telling us that dx by dt is 1. And then they say, what is the corresponding rate of change of y? So they want us to find dy by dt. This we don't know. Now dy by dt, that's equal to dy by dx multiplied by dx dt. Now, and this is all happening when x equal to 1, by the way. So now, what is dy by dx? From here, we can see that dy by dx would be, if I differentiate this, I carry down the power, that would be minus 2 times 5 is negative 10 times 2x minus 1 times 2. So dy by dx is negative 20 times 2x minus 1 multiplied by dx dt is 1. But this is occurring when x is 1, so plug x as 1 here. I'm getting negative 20. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. That's negative 20 times 1, which is negative 20. It's option B. Question 45. Question 45, it says, which of the following is true? And it gives us a graph. And this is when x is 2, the y value is k. What is true? First thing I observe is f of 2 is 0, because this is a stationary point. So f of 2 must be 0. F prime of 2, sorry, the first derivative, I notice f prime of 2 is 0. I note that f of 2 is equal to k. So let's see what they say. So first thing is f prime of 2 is k, f prime of 2 is not k, f of 2 is 0. So 3 and 4 out already. Now let's say f of 1, this is 1. F of 1 is bigger than k. So f of 1 is bigger than k. That one is true. Right? That one is clearly true. This is bigger than k. Alright? So number 2 is definitely true. Alright. Now let's see which other one is true. It says f prime of 1, f prime of 1 is less than 0. That is true. Right here, so the gradient is negative. So that is true. So this is also true. So since 1 and 2 are true, that is option A. That's it. Easy.